Alrighty, this is battery by Ontario Veterinary Hospital. They're all going to federal prison. This is assault and battery with for Mike LORENZ. These are demons engaging in violence. They're doing so in the name of Ontario Veterinary Hospital. This is a demon. This is an engineer light. This is Satan that's engaging in defamation. She's going to prison. Those double shadows while she's engaging with assault with a deadly weapon, damaging my property, put her hands on me repeatedly over and over again. This is all engineer light. They're going to prison. The demons inside of Ontario Veterinary are monitoring. She's engaging what is criminal summoning while the police are already monitoring. I documented them crossing path right here. The entity is engaging in what is criminal summoning while the entity is engaging in that pattern of conduct, and she's committing what is assault with a deadly weapon. All right, engaging in what is battery, continuously putting her hands on me. Instead of me choking her out, she's going to prison. She's going to federal prison because this is Satan talking. Oh, you already put your hands on me. This is somebody that thinks that they're a gangster. Well, guess what? Mike LORENZ is going to prison. You're going to federal prison. You're going to federal prison driving around with paper plates, engaging in surveillance, stalking another woman. And this is why they're being deported as well. This is P.O.C. This is the entity. All of this is audible activity. This is criminal defamation. This is a demon. These are the light slingers. These are the vagina monitors. These are the feces eaters engaging in what is battery. She's going to prison. She's going to federal prison. She's going to federal prison. That's the bottom line. She's going to federal prison. This is the entity that's engaging in what is battery, and they're all ganging up around me, focused on me because they're stalking. This is mental illness that is unchecked, okay? This is the entity. She took my phone. You saw that previous video? Mike LORENZ is going to prison for this. Jason Fields is going to prison for this. This is what the entity is stalking as an airport for. These fake Christians back here are monitoring with this demon that's aiming light while they're molesting in the parking lot. This is that pattern of conduct. The entity is stalking by plane and helicopter, and she's engaging in what is use of her communication device. The Ontario police engage in criminal summoning, coming to engage in what is any sort of arrival while they commit battery in the name of the Ontario police. And they're all three going to prison. I just want to be clear on that. That's the pattern of conduct, and they're engaging in what is battery. While this demon feels like she's enlightened, I'm not going to stomp her face out because she's going to federal prison. I want you to see them engage in. I want you to see them engage in violence. I want you to see them engage in what is vocalizing threats. I want you to see the entity that is stalking pursuant to this violence. They're going to federal prison. You're not going to anywhere but federal prison. Assault with a deadly weapon on behalf of the state, federal prison. Criminal defamation on behalf of the state. So while they're in the engineered environment, these are the demons that are stalking under a fake sun, and they have to tell each other. These are demon-possessed psychopaths. Stalking, okay? Engaging in what is ongoing violence and then hugging it out. This is P.O.C. I want to be clear, Ontario Veterinary, that violence, the Ontario Veterinary Hospital is sharing in that. They're all monitoring to that violence. They're engaging in that pattern of conduct together, walking out of the veterinary hospital as well, walking out of it, monitoring. Doing so on behalf of the city that's gang stalking, 8XBF 896. This is all impossible light activity. All right, this is the entity that's engaging with its battery. I want you to see that because this is the entity that's engaging in that. This is exactly what I'm talking about, why Mike LORENZ is going to prison. This is a demon. This is why they're emboldened. You engage in violence, and then you're engaging what is criminal summoning. You're calling the demons that are gang stalking by helicopter. No, you're going to federal prison. Mike LORENZ is going to prison for the violence that she just engaged in. License Edward James 22M84, engaging in defamation, engaging in what is a graphic violence regarding threatening harm, and then also engaging in what is a battery. Doing so as a monitoring entity. They're all at the Chevron monitoring. They're all at the ARCO monitoring. That's the entity stalking plane. All right, that's the P.O.C. that's engaging in violence. That's state action. All of that is state action. And these are psychopaths in engineer light trying to defame somebody else. They eat their own feces. Okay? I'm not gonna sit up and fight with somebody that eats their own feces. She's going to prison. They're being deported, and they're also being prosecuted as terrorists. And Ontario Veterinary Hospital is engaging in that criminal pattern of conduct. They're engaging in that together as an entity. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the entity that's engaging in violence because they're being documented while they're conspiring your murder and gang stalking. Parked in the engineer light, their mental illness is evident in the environment. While they're engaging in what is violent threats, vocalizing them, and also engaging in what is violence. And this masculine female that eats her own feces is engaging in that conduct while she's being investigated with the government that is gang stalking through her. That's what's relevant behind the violence that they're engaging in. This is all monitoring. They're all monitoring to that. This is the entity. These are the demons that are gang stalking. This is what Tracy Banks is engaging in. This is what Jason Fields, this is what the government is engaging in when they're gang stalking American citizens. The entity has no planes that are landing over here. They're monitoring to that documented act of violence right now. Edward James 22 Mary 84, and they're engaged in what is violence. You see how they're all focusing on me when she's the one engaging in violence? This is gang stalking. Gang stalking is committed in furtherance of murder. She's going to federal prison for physical violence upon conspiracy to commit murder, and doing so while she's engaging in surveillance on behalf of the state. Stalking in this alley right here, maintaining what is light activity. All right, that's the P.O.C. The entity is stalking by the Ontario Police and stalking by the Ontario International Airport and stalking by the people of the state. This pattern of conduct already documented the sunrise and the sunset, and they're sitting around here engaging in monitoring violence and engineer light, and the feces eaters themselves engaging in what is criminal defamation, okay? The entity that's engaging in that delusional behavior, they're going to be diagnosed with regard to that. That's the malice. That's the malice behind gang stalking. It is currently 6:21 p.m. Bethel congregation, they're gang stalking as well. They're engaging in this violence right here in relevant position. They're getting in and out of their cars, including the demons of the Lees, and they're gang stalking children, monitoring to this violence right inside of 536 North Euclid Avenue. They're right in this parking lot monitoring while she's been engaged in surveillance here, and they're pacing back and forth, molesting, monitoring, gang stalking together, engaging what is violence together. This P.O.C. Alrighty, the entity is engaging what is also a threat, calling the Ontario Police as though she's going to engage in calling the police while they're all engaging in the pattern of conduct. They all committed physical violence together. Okay, that's P.O.C. That's the pattern of conduct. Alrighty, it is currently, I want to be clear, this is the entity, this is accumulation of federal charges. This is 6:22 p.m. This is the entity this is that impunity. They're going to be deported out of the country and they're going to be put in mental asylums. This is P.O.C. She's going to federal prison. See, these are the feces eaters that are engaging in that pattern of conduct, stalking in planes and helicopters and stalking as a whole population. This is not a veterinary hospital. This is a facilitating venue where they're engaging in state surveillance with the entity that has no airports that are landing over here, surveillance with the state, and the Ontario Police that are pacing over this building, monitoring to this ongoing violence. The government that's engaging in violence and defamation, harassment, threatening conduct, and they're all engaging in criminal defamation. Who is she calling? The police are already gang stalking. That's impossible light that you see there. While there, you listen to everything that she just stated, those are the mentally ill. That is a national security threat. Okay, that's P.O.C. You need to witness that violence that they're engaging because she's going to prison for it. And so are all the rest of the gang members. They're going to prison. This is group conduct, and they're going to prison together as well. P.O.C. It is currently 6:23 p.m. You're mindful of the entity that, again, they take in jest while they murder people, and they also find that funny as well. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:23 p.m.